Hello goat lovers, Crystal here with Blue Cactus Dairy Goats, and today we're going to make another Valentine's Day favorite, me time. Alright guys, so with Valentine's Day approaching, it is sometimes hard to get that special someone, something unique, something special, and something that you know they're going to love. So right now is the perfect time to head on over to our Etsy shop because we are offering free shipping on all domestic orders over $50. And we have a ton of soap to spoil that loved one with. Okay, so the Me Time bar is one of those bars that you feel like you are just absolutely being pampered with. It's a very luxurious bar. Not only is it extremely moisturizing, but the essential oils that I use in this bar are very, very relaxing and calming. So it just makes for a really, really perfect bar, hence the name Me Time. Alright, so this is what the bar we're going to be making today looks like. It is a swirl technique that we're going to use the hanger swirl with. And it is absolutely gorgeous. Alright, so we're going to start out with our 4 different oils here. We have olive oil, castor oil, shea butter, and coconut oil. And then we are going to add our awesome essential oils. Now this is 3 different essential oils, all being organic of course. And it is lavender, rosemary, and eucalyptus. And I can't even tell you how amazing that trio of essential oils smells. It's ridiculous. It really smells great. So first, we're just gonna stir that together so that we have all of our oils incorporated. There we go. So this is one of those soaps that I get a little messy with because there's lots of different colorants and so forth here. So we are going to do our best to keep it nice and tidy, which is why I always have a large stack of paper towels handy. Okay, so we're going to push this to the side. And then we're going to get our colors. Now we have purple Brazilian clay, one of my favorite clays. And here we have our French green clay. Now this clay is super amazing too. It has just this really awesome earthy tone to it that I love. I love earth tones. And then we have just a little bit of indigo that's going to give it the most gorgeous color of blue. Okay, so what I'm going to do, just to help with the whole blending of the soap batter in with the different clays and indigo, I want to make sure that I add some oil to it and just get it going so that when I do pour in my soap, the soap batter, it's going to blend in a lot quicker and it's not going to need blended with a stick blender very long because I do want it to stay as thin as possible for as long as possible for the swirl that we want on the inside. So for that, what we're going to do is the oil that I already have mixed and as part of the recipe, I'm going to do equal parts of the oil to the clay. So easy peasy. Now the French green clay, I could do equal parts, but for whatever reason, the green clay loves to actually absorb liquid, and it takes a little bit more liquid than a normal clay would, than some of the other clays rather. So I'm just going to add a little bit more just to make sure I get it mixed in there and it's a good kind of runny consistency. That way it blends into the soap batter easier. And there's really not a lot of indigo, so that will do her. Alright, so going from lightest to darkest, we're just going to get those stirred together until they are just incorporated. It helps with the lumps because, you know, clay is very dry, obviously, and sometimes it takes a little bit of work to actually get it mixed into the batter, and that's fine if it's a solid colored soap, but if you are actually trying to make a design, it'll thicken your soap up pretty darn quickly, so this just helps mix it in so you don't have to use your blender on this batter as long as you would if you didn't. Okay, so purple's done. Now we're just mixing that French green clay. does not take a lot of indigo at all to get a really, really vibrant dark blue color. So a little bit of indigo goes a very long way. So just to show you guys again, so there's the purple with the oil mixed in, the French green, perfect, and our very potent indigo, which totally looks black, but it won't here once we add the batter. So now these to the side, they have been prepped and are ready. So now we are ready to add in our lovely goat's milk into our oil mixture here. Love it. And now I am just going to stick blend it until it is completely incorporated. And you see just an all around even, lovely creamy looking color. Now we are ready for the lye. I'm just going to put, I always save that container so I can have something to put my stick blender in. That way it doesn't make a big mess. So now we're going to pour the lye in here, but I'm just going to stir it until it's completely stirred in. I don't want to stick blend it until it's actually into the colors. So all of these extra steps I'm taking are literally just to make sure that the soap batter stays a consistency that I want it to stay, and it's an easy consistency to work with. So that is the purpose of this. And the more colorants you work with, obviously kind of the quicker you need to work, and the more mindful of that you need to be, because it does like to thicken up on you. So the less blending with the stick blender, the better. The runnier your soap batter is going to stay for a longer period of time. Now again, if you were just doing a single color or something, you could throw it all into one pot and you'd be good to go, and then just pour it right into the mold. But that isn't the case with this soap. So just stirring in the lye, really carefully obviously. And I can tell it's all just kind of hanging out on the bottom still. And you guys will see, watch, I'll do this and then you're going to start seeing it getting a little bit darker. And that is the lye and oils mixing together. So there we go, it's starting to get just a hair darker. So I want to make sure that the lye is completely mixed in with the oils and milk here. Because when we pour it out into the different containers, you still want an even amount throughout the whole soap. So there's a lot of tricks you actually learn along the way, or just trial and error to try to see. You make a soap and you're like, oh, it's hardening up too quick. I can't make this design. I can't do that design. So just kind of trying to navigate through those issues and those problems to make a prettier bar is something I'm continually doing. Okay, so just check down here. Heck yeah, we are ready. So that is mixed in completely. And at this stage, I would have to literally stir for 4 more hours, 5 more hours, something ridiculous, and maybe even get a whisk before it's going to start activating and start saponifying, which is the act of turning into soap. So right now we're good to go. I could leave this set for a long, long time before I'd actually have to worry about it. I gotta get my lye out of the way there. But in this case, the first actual blending with the lye and the oils is going to be once I mix these colorants together. So it's just going to give us so much more time to work with it. Okay, so we're just going to pour in here about equal parts. That's good. absolutely love indigo. It's a really fun ingredient, natural ingredient to work with because, gosh, the variations of color of blue that you can get out of indigo is just, it's a wide range where, you know, the purple, it only gets so dark. Like the purple Brazilian clay or the French green clay, for example. It'll only get so dark. Whereas I bet if you used enough indigo, it could be black. You can get a baby blue all the way to black. So it's pretty cool. Now we do need a container also with the rest of the soap because it is going to be our just plain portion. So no colorant. And what that does is just really helps the other colors pop. So when you have a light base for those darker colors, it just really makes them look more vibrant and pretty. All right, so you've heard me say it before, you're always gonna work with the light to dark colors so that you don't have to switch out your stick blender. All right, so purple and green are kind of even, to be quite honest, but because purple is going to mix right, anything's gonna mix into this indigo because I used the dark blue, but purple and blue are closer than green and blue, so we're gonna go that way. So obviously, no colorant is going to get mixed first. And again, just until it's blended. We don't want to go any further than that. All right, blender in. Little burp, get those air bubbles out. Okay, that is good. And now, what I'm going to do with these is actually stir them in first. Because again, the less blending, the better. And if you add clays or anything to your soap batter, those do tend to thicken things up or speed the process up. So, just another little step to make sure it stays the consistency I want it. Okay, perfect. So I guess I may as well do all of these. You know, it's kind of funny working with these clays because every one is so different. Even if you're working with just the kaolin clays from one color to the next also vary. So some are lumpier than others, some are drier than others, some are just finer than others. So they all kind of have their own little special time to get blended in, if you will. But clays are awesome. I absolutely love working with clays. And the natural colors that you get from them, you can't beat it. And indigo is crazy fine. Just really, really, really super fine. Almost just a powder, if you will. So for the indigo, it is very, very helpful to have some oil mixed in with it before you add your batter. It makes a huge difference. It wants to blend in better. You don't have as many air bubbles that are coming out of the clumps and so forth. So that there is already trying to get a little thick on me. So let's hurry. Indigo. And perfect. Alright, so there's the indigo, purple Brazilian, green clay, and just the plain batter. All right, now that we have our 4 different colors, we need to start pouring it into the molds. So, a little tip too, if it's starting to get a little bit thick on you, which my white is. I clearly blended it a little bit longer than I should have. I tend to do things like that when I'm filming, but maybe you guys won't make the same mistake. So, what we're gonna do is just kind of start pouring it in here. I'm gonna just pour it all in on one side, or alternate rather, not all of it at once, but just gonna work on one side and just keep doing that. One color at a time. See, I'm trying to keep it on the side here. Not necessarily the side like that, but if I wasn't filming this, I would have these in a straight row so I could just glide it here, but I am. Alright, now we're gonna do green. Now this consistency is actually perfect for the hanger swirl technique because you do need it to be a little thick or the hanger swirl is not going to catch any of that soap and move it through. But if it's too thick, then it just kind of cuts through it and doesn't give you the effect, the desired effect that you're looking for either. So, alright, I'm actually going to give these a little stir. If you stir them, they keep a little bit runnier for a little bit longer. But we're doing good still. Now, purple. Back to white. So this is a little bit different of a technique than I started out with making the Me Time bar. What I started doing was just kind of a drop swirl. So I'd have my bucket, leave the white portion in the bucket, and then the colors just kind of got dropped in throughout, and then I'd pour it in. It was an easier and quicker technique, but I just felt like I could get a prettier swirl. And so I decided to try it this way, and I fell in love with that technique. So I feel like the swirl is just, it just makes me happier. It's a better swirl. So it is more of what I'm looking for as far as the beauty part of the bar is concerned. So as you can see, I got more soap in that one than here. I'm gonna start with this one. And the blue is what kind of sticks out the most in the bar. It's just really pretty. And all of these colors do change slightly. Not a whole lot, but they all do change a little bit. So like if you guys saw the color of the oils, it's kind of how they look, right? But then once it saponifies, it gets lighter. So like if you just kept a white bar, you know, the outcome after saponification, it's a much lighter bar. And just depending on whatever natural ingredient you're using, you're gonna get slightly different colors than what you're looking at here before it's saponified. So just keep that in mind too. So these are getting pretty full. So now I'm not worried about the positioning of the soap so much, like down the side. I'm just kind of more looking to fill those gaps now. Let's just pat it down and see where we're at. Yeah, that doesn't need any more. Let's see this one. This one could use a little. And then anything left over if I want a different color on top. Like right now this is all green. You know, I want my topping to have different colors in it. So like the remnants, if you will, all will splash here and there. But before we can do that, we are ready for our hanger swirl. So let me just wipe this up a little. Clean as you go, guys. This soap making can get pretty messy. There. So this is my hanger swirl, and this hanger swirl is just copper that I had my husband get at Ace Hardware, and he bent it and just made it fit for my mold. So it is specially made for me. However, it's super easy to do if you guys can't find one that you really like. My first one was on Amazon and it was flimsy. And it was like $20 for no reason whatsoever, and this is way better, so, and way cheaper even at that. So, with this technique, there's lots of different things you can do with the hanger swirl. You can go straight down, straight up, but we are going to actually kind of go in swirls in here, so that's what we're looking to do. You ready? Okay, here, so check me out. I'm swirling, swirling. Right? Now, just want to go the other way. I'm not trying to do too much because then you're going to make it one color. Obviously, that's not a winner. So here we go. There, clean that up. Get down in there. Swirl, swirl. Other way. All right. Nice. Okay, so now that the hanger swirl part is over, I want to make sure just to pat everything down in case there's any air bubbles. But again, this is a really, really good consistency to not leave big gaps. In other words, it didn't break through the soap, it glided through the soap, and that is what we are looking for. But thick enough to be able to latch onto that hanger and carry the soap throughout. Okay, now this one. Just trying to even it out a little. It's not real important. It's more just I'm anal with it. Okay. Now, as I said, the little portions that I have left, I will go on the top just to get a little more color. And since blue is my favorite, I'm going to kind of just add more pretty blue. Especially since that's what I have more of left. So had I not taken all those extra steps and made sure that I waited to the very end, all my mixing was done before I actually did the blender, this would already be just solid. It definitely would not be doing what it is doing for me now. It would be very, very thick. More of a Play-Doh kind of consistency already. So it just gives you more time. All right, I got a little purple, not much, but we'll do, okay, I lied, we're not gonna do much purple at all. There we go. And white to lighten it up. Good. All right, so for this topping, we are going to use a little spoon and do what I call the goat toe swipe. which is actually funny because we were doing this and I thought, that looks like a goat toe swipe, and then somebody had commented it and I was like, oh. So it just kind of stuck, but we're gonna go through and do the sides, and then we have these little chunks of soap that go on top just as a little soap embed and just kind of give it a little extra. This is one of my favorite toppings. I just think it's pretty and it's fun and it's satisfying to watch and do, so there's that. Right, and now we flippy. Okay. And do it to the other side. Toppings are one of my favorite things about soap making. They're fun to kind of come up with when they work out, and they're satisfying, and probably also because you know you're at the end of it. Not that I don't enjoy making soap, but once it's made, you're like, I made that. So now that's topped. If we'll give you guys just a little bit better view of how that looks before we get the little soap pieces on. I just love it. And how easy, right? Something that is gorgeous and easy, hard to beat. Okay, so now for the little soap pieces. And what this is are just soap that was already done, saponified, and I just cut them into little cubes. So again, this isn't anything other than I think it's cute. So here we go. I want it right down the middle, and what I do is just kind of throw them down in, hoping I throw them where I want them to be, because that's not always the case. And by kind of tossing them in, it gets them in there a little bit, kind of plants them in place, even though I do go back through with a skewer and make sure that they're good and in there. So as I mentioned, you guys, this is another one of our Valentine's Day favorites, which we have in stock right now. So you guys can all head to the Etsy shop and certainly get some. And another favorite is blush. Blush is another super, super popular bar. Our rose clay and charcoal. And patchouli even, believe it or not, is another Valentine's favorite. And also this is pretty satisfying too as far as toppings are concerned. Just kind of throwing things at my soap here. And it's kind of cool because as I make soaps, I also get aromatherapy, so you can't beat that. There we go. Jeez, I was really trying to get that middle. Just a few more. See, like this one. I didn't necessarily want it there, but that's where it's gonna be. Alright, anywhere else? Let's see, I want there. I could add, sure, there, 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 and there. And I didn't really want it there, but here we go. Alright, so now I'm just going to take my skewer, and like I said, even though I kind of tossed them in there and embedded them slightly, I just want to make sure, like that one wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be. But yeah, if you get them down in the soap, then they're not going anywhere. and they become part of the soap. And it just looks cute. That is pretty, guys, and man, does it smell good. Check it out. So as I said, just gives it a little extra. It's not necessary, but it just makes the bar that much more special. Smells good. Okay, so I'm gonna get these in the cooler and start making some more soap to make sure that I can keep you guys stocked with the best goat milk soap you guys can buy. So head on over to our Etsy shop. Again, we are offering free shipping on all domestic orders through February 9th. So perfect timing to get that special someone those Valentine's gifts that they aren't gonna expect and that they will absolutely love. So that is it for today, you guys, and we will see you all again soon.